Welcome back to the Korean Solar Minimum channel. Today is Monday, May the 4th be with you, 2020. Solar wind speeds coming in right now at 339.1 kilometers per second with a density of 3.5. We are now looking at the third day in a row without sunspots, making it 93 days now for 2020. 74% of the time without sunspots thus far, but I will point out at the lower left-hand corner, the eastern side, you will see an area that they are saying this could be our next sunspot. It is struggling right now, but we are watching this one, and that would be a quick streak of spotless days broken. Also watching this coronal hole right here that almost seems to go from the southern to the northern part of the star. That'll be Earth facing in a couple of days. It'd be interesting to see if that pattern holds, and we could see a decent amount of earthquake uptick and volcanic activity as well if this formation continues to hold its current formation there. So right now TCI at 3.34, that's the thermosphere climate index, staying rather low here recently. The KPN to C at 1 with a 24-hour max of a 3. And right now this Earth-facing coronal hole that's turning away now from Earth, we should start to see the effect of solar wind stream increasing between today and through early tomorrow as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. Cosmic radiation 9.7%, down a bit on the 7-day change by 0.5%. And let's go ahead and take a look over at our website, thegrandsolarminimum.com, and check out the space weather section here. All is well right now. Not a lot of solar activity whatsoever. KP indices have been spiking to 3, but not much more than that. Low activity. And taking a look at our star, well, that's not really showing us a whole lot in the future. Now, if you look back beyond the eastern limb, there's some speckled areas of light action maybe, but nothing sunspots, nothing huge, nothing that we haven't seen before in this minimum. So again, we'll take in consideration of this small region that's in the southern part of our star. More than likely a member of solar cycle 25, but right now they're not calling it a spot, and it does look rather small, and it could be decaying as we speak. So we'll continue to monitor this right now and also let you know if we're going to be under any kind of geomagnetic storm levels in the next 24 hours. Now, originally when they put the alert up, they were not concerned with that, so we'll just keep you guys posted as we move along. And let's keep it space related here. How Halley's Comet will spark Monday night meteor shower. So for tonight and pre-dawn tomorrow will be your best time to view this. And there is a map. Actually, let me see if I can get the map here. Here we go. So if you live in Ohio, Indiana, you can see the map. Poor conditions. Fair for some of you folks. Up near the northeast, anywhere in the green is going to be the good conditions to view this. So
I want to check something,
sure.
Jake. I'm sorry. Can you open up that little window for me? It is okay. That's it. All right. I'll play with it later.
Okay.
So like,
everything all right?
Spacey. Yeah.
Well, we're in space, so
spacey sound.
we're spacey sound. We're in space, so sorry. No, but seriously, looking at the comet shower, the meteor shower tonight into tomorrow morning, pre-dawn conditions. These are the areas that you'll see this. This is the Eta Aquariids. Will be active on the nights leading up to and immediately following the peak, so that people have cloudy weather on Monday night may be able to spot some shooting stars later in the week when the clouds clear. Now, We also are going to be dealing with the final supermoon of 2020. So, and here at the bottom, it gives you some tips on how to view, tips for viewing. No special equipment is needed to watch a meteor shower, although people should pack some patience when heading out to spend some time under the stars. Give yourself a solid hour to look for meteors. Get comfortable. Lay down on a blanket or reclining chair. People should also avoid looking toward the moon, which will be above the horizon for most of the night. Looking at the moon can make it harder to see meteors, so try to focus in the darkest part of the sky. Obviously, if you live near city lights, this won't work out for you as well. For you folks out there who are in rural areas or maybe up in the mountains, this is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Again, that's tonight through pre-dawn conditions tomorrow morning. Now, this will be the peak. You will be able to see them throughout the week. And let's talk a little earthquake. So yesterday, or actually 2 days ago, we had a 6.6 in Greece. On top of that, we had several earthquakes in Puerto Rico as well, which we are now seeing another swarm out there. And then we had the 6.0 in Ryukyu Islands in Japan. That was on the 3rd of May. So the second, we had the 6.6 in Greece, the 6.0 in Japan following that. No tsunami, no damage, nothing like that. So what's up? What's going on? It's been pretty active lately. Let's go ahead and take a look today. Actually, let's go ahead and update this real quick. Here we go. So we are now up to date. A 4.8 occurred here just a little while ago in the Solomon Islands. A 4.9 in Tonga. Several aftershocks in Puerto Rico, 3.7, nothing too crazy right now. We had a 4.7 also today in the Philippines. Another 4.9, 4.7, 5.6 in Japan. So quite a bit of activity. There's a 4.5 aftershock off of Greece. This is funny. I had a question about Hawaii the other day. What are we going to expect from areas in Hawaii during a grand solar minimum? I was leaning towards volcanic and seismic activity. And just today, we've had a few minor earthquakes, 3.2, 3.3, and 2.6 in Pahala, in Hawaii, 4.4 in Russia, 4.6 in Peru. These are all just from today. Another one from Japan, a 5.2, a 4.6 in Chile. So nothing crazy as far as, high and heavy quakes, but that's just in the last 24 hours. And prior to that, we've had several earthquakes in Puerto Rico and, of course, the usual suspect areas as well. The Solomon Islands just had an earthquake here recently in Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and check that one out real quick. 1934 UTC. Information on that was depth was 5.8 kilometers, a magnitude of 3.2. Typical area we see. So might we be on the alert for something on the East Coast or Northeast, or possibly along the New Madrid, Southern Tennessee? Conditions definitely will be favoring for earthquake and volcanic activity over the next 24 to 36 hours, especially with KP indices where we are right now as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. As any breaking news on any earthquakes tonight or tomorrow morning, we will break in live with any updates whatsoever. And here we have more than 75,000 people had to evacuate today after dam failures lead to severe flooding in Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. Now this happened on May 1st. The Saradoba Reservoir Dam in the Uzbek side broke early Friday, causing the Syriadara River to overflow. The floods affected more than 600 homes in southern Kazakhstan and left about 50 people injured and caused crop damage, mostly cotton, worth more than $400,000. Just taking a look at this is just unreal on the amount of flooding here just from this picture. The dam encountered failure due to heavy rain and strong winds, the government said. In Uzbekistan, about 70,000 people from 22 villages from the Daira region fled their homes. The government assured that the people were displaced to safer districts and were provided with food. In Kazakhstan, authorities evacuated around 5,400 people from 4 villages in the Makataro district in the province of Turkestan, according to governor of the region here. Some people had left the area on their own, he had added. The Uzbek government noted that it had managed to lessen the flow of water and divert it into a nearby lake. However, officials in the southern Turkestan region criticized the Uzbek government for not being able to provide prompt information on the status of floods control. So quite the situation out here, and this is just total inundation, and it could have been a lot worse than what we were looking at. The people are setting up GoFundMe pages here. 70,000 people evacuated. They need food, drinking water, diapers, hygiene products, medicine, bedding. With everything that's happening right now around the world, we've got natural disasters still to deal with on top of the sick that we're attending to right now. But we have to worry about landslides, earthquakes, volcanoes, flooding, sinkholes. There's one here in the Northeast, Saratoga Springs, New York. Pretty large one as well. Evacuated a neighborhood. That's real close to home. So just imagine already the supply chain is experiencing a lot of stress. And when we go through situations like this, the demands are the same as what we all need across the world right now due to other emergencies as well. North Korea scientists making it rain, and no, they're not visiting the strip club. They are seeding clouds, or are they? I want to read a little bit of this here. North Korea's top university has been testing artificial rainfall since 2017, according to a South Korean press report. The North Korean economy reported Wednesday that North Korean scientists at the University of Kim Il-sung have been developing artificial rainfall to fight drought, a persistent problem for a country facing seasonal food shortages. Now, this university recently disclosed ongoing experiments with artificial rainfall. The research has been gaining traction since November of 2017. Last year, North Korea said the country endured its worst drought in 37 years and urged ordinary North Koreans to prevent further damage to crops. UN agencies later said that 10 million North Koreans were in dire need of food assistance. So quite the food crisis going on in North Korea. The North Korean university claimed that reagents used to change the amount of precipitation falling from clouds have been developed. The weather-modifying chemicals undergoing several outdoor tests on different clouds. Chemicals used in cloud seeding were also self-developed in North Korea and have undergone tests for 2 years and 6 months now. Artificial precipitation may have been carried out using rockets in 2018, according to North Korea Economy, citing that North Korean paper making the claim. Artificial rain technology can alter adverse weather conditions to prevent drought and hail damage, secure water resources for electricity generation, and clear up environmental pollution to contribute to the country's economic development and people's livelihoods. So a couple of problems with this article, and I read the whole thing, and it's not that long, and I just read the most of it to you guys just now. But North Koreans are claiming that they're making it rain, that they are providing more moisture from clouds because of a chemical. I would like to have more information when seeing articles like this. Not once does the site or the article here offer up any information about the precipitation. How much? Is it safe? What are they putting into the clouds? And can we rely on this? That would be for the normal folks. And then you get to people like me. And I can already hear it now. The chemtrailers. Here they come. I told you. We're spraying in the skies. That's false as well. I'm not saying they're not trying to seed the clouds over here in North Korea, but let's face it. North Korea has claimed many things, okay? They claim they're coronavirus free. Kim Un-jung, or whatever his name is, it claims he's the best golfer in the world. My thought, and the funny part is the correlation, is that they said they've been working on this project since 2017. Well, would you look at that? Our deep minimum began right around the end of 2016 going into 2017, and we started seeing solar minimum effects, more cosmic radiation in the atmosphere. So is North Korea really seeding the clouds, or are they just seeing the results of natural precipitation because of cosmic radiation developing and seeding the clouds and creating more moisture? Because this article didn't offer any details on the precipitation that fell and what period of time and how much. And interesting to see that this chemical they were supposedly using to seed the clouds were, what do you call it? Preventing hail, which I would think that's more of an atmospheric situation. Again, the arrogance from North Korea to think that they can control the weather. It's just absurd, obnoxious, and arrogant. I know that we've had projects that decrease hurricane power. They've tried things where they drop things into the clouds to try to help absorb the moisture or the energy of the storm. But I don't know about adding things to the clouds to add on to precipitation. Now, I know there's some of you out there that might disagree with me on that weather warfare has been going on for a long time. And I'm not saying you're wrong to believe that. But just looking at what I'm seeing here, guys, this is, to me, not really newsworthy. And again, no offense to AccuWeather or no disrespect, but it must have been a slow news day because I didn't really see what the deal was. Oh yeah, here we go. Terrifying Asian hornets. I don't know what you guys think about this. It's everywhere. On top of Starbucks and stock news, that's everywhere too. But these Asian hornets, and it's funny because it just depends on where you go to read about these Asian hornets. Like here at AccuWeather, they're called Asian hornets. If you go to CNN, they're called murder hornets. And a good reason to call them murder hornets. I'm not, laughing at it because it's not true, but could you make it any more scarier? I mean, what is going on here, folks? Is this grand solar minimum? Is this what happens during grand solar minimum, that we get species of insects that migrate? Is it possible that this is a migrating situation because of the magnetics, how low everything is in the magnetic field, how much less energy it is? Is it messing with the natural GPS of insects and birds and animals, and they are just wandering? Or is this insect invasion that they found here in Washington, is this more of a targeted, purposeful individual who released a certain species of hornet here in the United States as a terroristic situation. And I know you're probably thinking, what in the hell are you talking about, terroristic situation? I'm not worried about, well, I mean, we should be worried about humans. This can kill people. But worse, just as worse, is that if these things are killing off the honeybee population on top of us losing honeybee population, that's a huge problem when you're talking about vegetation. We depend on the honeybee. So that to me is the bigger scare in this situation right now, is that if we're going to be dealing with a new breed of aggressive insect, not only is it a threat to humans, but the bigger threat could be killing off the honeybee. And we know how valuable they are to us as far as when it comes for growing vegetation and what their role is in this natural process. And then you got these bastards here who are going to, and I watched a documentary on these kind of bees, and it's frightening to watch these guys in action. Decapitation is how they take care of these bees. It's brutal. I mean, what a brutal species. But anyway, off of that whole, it's just interesting to me that everything that's happening right now, is it media hype, more fear, or is this part of a natural situation and Mother Nature is angry? So we're getting virus, we're getting insect, we're getting, natural disasters and earthquakes and storms and floods. I mean, it's just all at once. It's crazy. And now talking about food shortages too. I almost put in an article about how the majority of the grocery stores in a lot of parts of the United States now are limiting the sales of meat. At first it started off in commissaries all over the United States. Now it's actually moving towards the food chain or the franchise chain grocery stores as well. So a lot going on, guys, a lot to keep up. But I wanted to bring this up and just kind of throw it out there. Is this a nature thing? Or is this something that man did? Did man bring this species here? Was this part of an attack, an unthought of attack? And I don't mean to be a conspiracy theory about it, but when you look at some of the things about the COVID virus and what it does to the human body, it's literally attacking the human body. And now we have to deal with an insect species that could be also affecting, not a lot, but some. I think 50 people have died from Asian hornet attacks a year. So it's a very, very low number. Still, you don't want to get stung by one of these things. They're huge and it stings pretty bad. But anyway, guys, just leave your thoughts and comments in our comment section after the video. And chilly temperatures may engulf the Midwest to the Northeast, including possible snow late week. Yeah. I want to show you something real quick. This right here. Watch this. You're thinking to yourself, whoa, this is May. What is going on? This goes back to what I said on Friday. Thanks to a good friend of ours here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel, Scott Rose up in Michigan. Talked to him a lot about the 3.6-year cycle. And one of the biggest takeaways from the UAH temperature, just not by looking at the jet stream at Earth null or anything like that, just by taking away from the temperature in the Arctic, how it changed and how it changed in the lower 48. And the one thing that he told me that really sticks out the most is the fact that the polar vortex has lost its tight grip. And he's absolutely correct. I mean, look at how deep this cold air is moving into the Northeast. That's a huge blob of cold, Arctic cold too. Now that doesn't mean we're going to be 30 to below zero here by any means, but it's going to be cold. Overnight lows in the 20s and 30s for most of us. Some folks may see single digits and teens in the far northern parts of the Great Lakes. Let's go ahead and take a look. Much of the northern tier will have 5 to 15 degrees below average during the first half of this week. That translates to highs in the 50s or lower 60s for most areas, although places along the Canadian border might hold in the 40s. By Friday, a stronger cold front will sweep across the Midwest and East, making it feel more like early April than early May. High temperatures will be 10 to 20 degrees below average Friday into Mother's Day weekend, with highs struggling in the 50s as far south as Washington, D.C., and 40s in the northern tier. Check out some of the high temperatures throughout the week. Again, this looks like late March. Boston, 59, 54, 53, and 56. And that's not broken. 48 degrees for a high in Boston this weekend on Saturday. Chicago, 53 on Saturday, 47 on Friday, as they'll get that blast of cold air first before we get it here in the Northeast. Cleveland, Ohio, 47. That cold air is also going to be towards western New York by Saturday, as a high of 45 is slated here in parts of upstate New York. New York City, a high of 41 degrees, and Pittsburgh, 46 degrees for a high temperature on Saturday. So yesterday here in upstate New York, we had a high of 78 degrees yesterday. By the time we get to past midnight tonight, we will be below 35 degrees. And that's a very big 45-degree drop, 24 to 36 hours. And that is all because of the polar vortex becoming weaker, losing its grip, not being as tight. Now it's allowing that colder Arctic air to flow south. As we saw temperatures rising in the Arctic, that colder air's got to go somewhere. When things warm up in the northern part, that cold air's got to go somewhere. It just doesn't go away. It doesn't evaporate. It doesn't vanish. That warm air will push it somewhere. And right now, that somewhere is going to be the Northeast and the Great Lakes and the northern parts of the Canadian border in the United States. So we will see chilly temperatures. We will see some hot weather at some point, but we'll get into that here just really quick. Before we go to our GFS outlook, taking a look at some severe thunderstorms possible across the south. Now, as gusty thunderstorms blew across portions of the central United States on Sunday, more significant severe storm threat will develop over the area on Monday. Sunday's storms produced a swath of damaging wind and hail reports from the Central Plains into the Tennessee Valley. Over 230 reports of damaging winds occurred on Sunday, according to the Storm Prediction Center. The long-lived swath of straight-line high winds appears to have met the criteria of a derecho, according to AccuWeather, or derecho, I'm sorry, a derecho. That's according to AccuWeather meteorologist Alex Sonswanisky. Guess he's from Milwaukee. There were many high wind related incidents and steady swath from southeastern Missouri through southeastern Tennessee. Approximately over 300-mile long swath, the roots of long-lived thunderstorm complex even stretched as far into the west as southeast Kansas. Nashville International Airport recorded a gust wind of 71 miles per hour late Sunday. 175,000 customers Sunday night were without power. So here we go again. Severe thunderstorm threat today and into tonight. As we speak, as we're looking at it right now, it starts up the threat between now and overnight tonight for Oklahoma and parts of Missouri and Arkansas as well. And this will continue to move eastward by Tuesday. It'll be a storming pattern all the way from the deep south up the east coast through Virginia, as we will wrap up the rest of the week with showers and storms across the south and the east coast. But turning cold in the northeast and a chance for some snow briefly Friday night into Saturday morning. So let's take a look at our weather forecast really quick here for our friends across the pond. For the UK, I'll go ahead and play the European weather map as I read this off for you guys real quick. But for this evening and tonight, chilly in the north with clearing skies and a local frost possible, cloudier, windier in the far southwest with local gales as well as, let's get that started here. All right, sorry. With local gales as well as heavy rain and perhaps thunder later in tonight. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, sunny and dry for most northern parts. Heavy and rain, strong winds to start in the southwest, easing later in the morning. Outlook for Wednesday through Friday in the UK. Cloudy at times with rain or showers for western and northern areas. Some dry spells as well. Many other areas are fine and increasingly warm with light winds and plenty of sunshine. So sounds like the type of forecast that I'd like to have here for the States, warming up, less rain. And looking at this right now, we see light rain across parts of Spain, Portugal, some heavy rain, moderate rain there across France around the 10th of May, snow up north as well, but really off and on showers, but nothing too crazy, guys. We get one pretty big low pressure system moving across much of Europe, France as well, and Germany. But for the most part, your typical spring type weather. Let's take a look at temperatures and how they will change throughout the next few days. So let's move it out. This is on the 1st. We're past that. Let's go to the 4th right here. Very nicely done. Overnight temperatures, lows, not bad. For the most parts, 40s, 50s, and 60s. For much of Europe, warming up into the 60s and 70s. And a couple of cooler spots coming in late May as well, middle part of May for the UK, but warming up just nicely as we go past the mid part of May. Spring is starting to take a hold of our friends across the pond, as this is what we could be looking at by May 20th. Let's check out what we could see here in the United States. We got rain across the Midwest heading into the south-southeast. And that system moves up to the East Coast, the Mid-Atlantic states, and off it goes. And we are quiet for May 7th briefly, but more storms racing out of eastern Oklahoma into the deep south, the Tennessee Valley, the parts of the Ohio Valley as well. As this system by the weekend, this is what's going to be the tail end. It's going to bring the snow to western New York and other parts of New York as well. As we see this early Saturday morning into Saturday, snow rain mix overnight Saturday as well. So we have technically 2 shots for snow, light snow Friday night into Saturday morning, and then throughout the day, picking up as the temperatures drop back below freezing overnight. Again, a chance for some rain snow mix overnight, and that is this weekend. And then check out the Gulf. Lots of activity happening there, lots of moisture flowing in. A little bit of a flash here of a low pressure system. Not much to be concerned of. Way too early for a hurricane. But remember how I always talk about these flashes. And I'm talking about, watch this region right in here. Now this is still some time away. This is May 15th. But this low pressure system is trying to organize. And thankfully it flows away from the East Coast by the 19th. Does not appear as if it's going to make an impact of any kind as far as a storm, but still interesting. The Bahamas might have to watch out here as very heavy rains, a very early storm trying to organize itself, and just depends on what we're looking at for temperatures in the ocean. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Right now, are we seeing anything that would favor a Gulf Coast type situation hurricane? And the answer is no. And we are just simply too early in the year. Now, we checked this last Monday, and take a look at the coast of Africa here, where we usually see, let me get my handy dandy arrow out, where we usually see these waves. Of course, this has to happen now. But you see these waves that come off of Africa. Well, I can't get the arrow to work for you right now, but the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of green here, and we need that to be yellow and orange to develop any kind of storm. Now here near the Florida Keys, it's a little bit warmer, but for the most part, the coast, guys, it's cooler. And that gap is a lot bigger than what it was last week when we were showing this. From the Gulf Coast out to that yellow line edge, all right? There's a lot more green inside there than there was last week at this time. So off the east coast of Florida, very, very, very unlikely section that is warm enough to support some kind of tropical storm. But if you guys remember, Dorian didn't need the entire ocean to be strong. And it was a streak of warmer water in a certain area, and it thrived in that path. But right now, I mean, it's just too early. But what I'm thinking here, and I'm wowing about, is that the Gulf appears to be a little bit cooler, and this polar vortex situation, you know, again, looking at some of the temperatures around the Maine, the Gulf Coast up there, or the Gulf Coast, the Northeast Coast in Maine. We got some pretty cold waters in the North Atlantic. So interesting stuff happening, guys. Hurricane season, they've been predicting that this was going to go above average this year. Here's your El Nino situation, 3-4, it's tumbling. Let's take a look at North Atlantic temperatures. To me, they just look a little lower. Actually, they're rebounding a little bit. They did drop for a little while, and now they're on the rebound. North Atlantic does that, but still below baseline at this time of the year. So still colder waters in this area. Let's take a look at a couple other areas as well. Caribbean, looks like it's cooling slightly, very, very slowly as well, but on the down. East Tropical Atlantic, way down. Look at that. Wow. And even if you guys are looking at these surface temperature anomaly 7-day change, lots of blue in here, guys. Look at the blue. Sea surface temperature anomalies in the top right-hand corner. A lot of orange in the northern part of the equatorial region, a little bit in the southern as well, but mainly more blue. Definitely, these maps here are suggesting we could be seeing, especially in the El Nino the Nino 3-4 region, definitely suggesting we are seeing conditions drastically cooling and could see a pretty strong La Nina this year. I'm interested to watch these temperatures in the North Atlantic and the North Pacific as well, and see how we fare out moving forward with the polar vortex now being weak and is allowing colder than usual air to invade the lower United States, the 48 states. That'll be interesting to watch how ocean temperatures are affected, on top of all the volcanic eruptions that we're having, causing blockage of sunlight, creating issues with our climate, local and regional. So very interesting start to 2020, aside from the virus. I'm talking weather, seismic, volcanic, just some very interesting developments thus far. Mari, hello.
Hi.
I'll go ahead and turn on your mic for you real quick.
Oh, look at this. I have my own mic, Jake. I'm just making a mess, spilling everything. Should have had that mic a little closer, huh? Jake. Anyway, I would like to say hello to everyone in the chat. And I want to give a special thank you. I'm trying to get caught up on my backlog of emails. So first off, I want to thank everyone who's emailed us, and also those people who have sent in just they've bought Jake coffee and cookies. And I pulled up a list since March. So I'm going to thank, I don't know how to pronounce this, Jake. So bear with me. I'm going to say it's pronounced as Joachim, Brandon, and James Kephart, and David Rees, and Lenani Bush. Hopefully I didn't butcher any of your names. So thank you for supporting our channel. Lenani, actually sent us a message saying she was happy to, or she or he, I don't know, made a small donation. My business is at a standstill due to COVID-19 global situation. They bought you a coffee, Jake.
Nice.
Even though they're out of work with COVID and everything. That's, to me, it's very humbling to see people do that. So thank you. It's very much appreciated. And Jake will be on our sister channel, WTF Sky, with our middleman politics. Right, Jake? You got that lined up? 5:30?
Yep, 5:30. It will be going live on our sister channel, WTF Sky. It's called Middleman Politics. We'll discuss headlines from all the news organizations, not just one particular network, but we want to give a insight of what other places are seeing. Whether you agree with it or not, I'm just there to report. And interesting to see the collection of news stories that come from each individual website.
And I'll post that. I
Just posted that link in the chat. And for all the special shows that we do on our sister channel, there is a playlist on our main channel page on YouTube linking everything off. So some nights it might be about COVID, other nights it might be about aliens, UFOs, politics. You just don't know. It's a mixed bag. We keep it on a separate channel because algorithms and analytics and YouTube gives us enough struggles. So we're just going to keep it separated. Plus, a lot of GSM people don't want to hear that stuff. Huh, Jake?
Nope, not at all. Technical stuff. That's thanks to Mari. So anyway. All right, guys, thank you for joining us this afternoon on our Grand Solar Minimum News Update. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you for tuning in. We hope everyone is safe and stays well. Again, join us at 5:30 on WTF Sky for The Middleman Politics with me. Until then, guys, we'll talk soon.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.